Good evening, everyone. I'm Storm Team 5 Chief Meteorologist Luke Sampe, live here on Facebook and also our digital platforms. I wanted to give you an update as to what has been happening out in western Wisconsin for our weather threat here as we progress deeper into this evening. What has changed from our 6 p.m. report to now is that the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for basically all areas to the north and to the west of Green Bay. It does not include Green Bay, the Fox Cities, or the Lakeshore, but we are concerned about the strength of some of these storms that are pushing in from the western side of the state and up through northern Wisconsin, which have had tornado warnings on them. We'll give you a radar overview. We'll go over the watches and any concerns that we have, and we'll kind of break down the timing. If you're joining us here on Facebook and you have a question, comment, or concern, I will try to get to it perhaps after this video closes down, but certainly don't hesitate to comment and provide any of your concerns that you may have. I'm going to try to address a lot of what we have going on here this evening right now. So as you see here on the bigger box of this screen, this is what we call our radar composites, essentially the radar information from all of the National Weather Service offices around, and we're getting this image of a very potent line of storms that are currently located anywhere from Ashland, Iron County, moving into Price County up in northwest Wisconsin, and then they tail off into about the Eau Claire area. The ones that are of greatest concern are what are moving through far northern Wisconsin. It does look like there's some very strong storms moving from Rochester over toward about Eau Claire, but those right now at this time are not looking as nasty as what we have going on up in far northwest Wisconsin. So we just, right before coming on here, there was a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for the western UP, and that's what I just grabbed off the printer there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have going on with these storms. First, we'll pop over to all of the active warnings that are happening right now. And so anything in the orange, yellowish hue, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. Anything in the red, that would be a tornado warning. And it looks like we have one active tornado warning at this time just off to the north and east of Eau Claire. So this is near Chippewa Falls, including Cadott and Stanley. This is all off into far western Wisconsin. Again, not a threat for us right now, but these storms as they move in our direction could be an issue as we head deeper into this evening. So that's what we have for warnings at this time. I just wanted to update you on this tornado watch as well. You can see if you joined us for any of our early evening broadcasts, this only included far western Wisconsin areas from about Eau Claire and points west and then back into Minnesota and down through here. What was added through this evening is basically all of central and northern Wisconsin, the western part of the UP, and then areas to the north of Green Bay, including Oconto County, Marinette County, Menominee County, Langley County, Shawano County, Waupaca County, and Waushara County. Those are the counties in our viewing area, in our coverage area, that we have had added, and that, again, broke shortly after 7 o'clock this evening. Remember, a watch means that conditions are favorable for a tornado to develop. So we have a lot of spin in the atmosphere with this line of thunderstorms moving in, and we've had several reports of tornadoes and certainly many tornado warnings already with these storms back into the western part of the state and into Minnesota. So that is what we have for a watch. We can click back over to our radar imagery and show you what we have going on there. So again, a whole host of severe thunderstorm warnings lined up from the western UP all the way into portions of northwest Wisconsin. So this would be Ashland and Iron counties here. Here's northern Price. And then we have this storm that I mentioned that's tornado warned just off to the north and east of Eau Claire. It does not include the city of Eau Claire, but Chippewa Falls is under the gun with this. Cadott would be under the gun with this. And then we have another severe thunderstorm warning, it looks like, in between Eau Claire and La Crosse, and then in far southeastern Minnesota. That's what we have for current warnings. Now, the motion on this, the movement, is off to the east-northeast at roughly 45 miles an hour. So chances are, if you're watching this video right now, you're wondering, well, when is this going to be getting here? And we have the ability to at least get a pretty good idea based on the eastward movement on this that we had at about 45 miles an hour. I'm just going to double-check that to see if that's accurate. That's what we had for movement. Yeah, they're moving east about 45 to 50. So we'll go 50 mile an hour movement on this. And as we take this right along this line here and bring it east, we're looking at roughly, at this, again, at this movement, To get into the Green Bay, Fox River Valley area, we're looking around maybe 3 hours and 15 minutes to maybe 3.5 hours, somewhere in there. So right now it's 8:35, so if it's 3 hours away, let's just say it's 3 hours away, you're looking at roughly 11:30 or 11:35. So this is probably going to be shortly before midnight, likely ongoing in our western communities as we hit the air for Local 5 News at 10. So this would be roughly, so again, the edge of this line that I'm drawing would be roughly about 2 hours out. So that's where we're expecting them to be in about 2 hours. So that would be 10:35. So this would be rushing into areas like, Langley County, northwestern Shawano County, far northern Wisconsin, Forest, Florence County, probably around 10:15 to 10:30. Based on the way that this is moving right now. It would clear our area, based on this trend, in about 4.5 hours from right now. So very early into the overnight hours. So what we're really concerned with is really probably what's going to be here in about an hour out in our western communities, and then lasting up and through about the next 3 hours. So we're not under the gun exactly just yet, but we will be, and that is why we are giving this update right now. And of course, with the threat of tornadoes, we need to get that message out there because, frankly, our earlier broadcasts, we still are not in the prime area for tornado development, but we have these storms that have had a history of producing some tornadoes. Looks like there's an update right there for Chippewa County until 9 o'clock. You just have to get the message out there, and the best way to do that in today's age is certainly to try to reach as many people as we can on our digital and social platforms. Again, I'm Luke Sampe. I'm with Storm Team 5. You're watching an update on our severe weather threat that is certainly it's late season. We began fall today and felt like summer. It's not uncommon to have severe weather. We actually have a little bump. It's called a late season severe weather bump, and that usually happens in September into early October, where we'll get active as we're swapping out the seasons and we can have these types of scenarios set up. Okay, so that's what we have right now. Here's another way to look at it. I wanted to show you what we have for Futurecast and kind of breaking this down. Now, keep in mind, modeling, especially when you're in an event, has a really hard time spinning up the thunderstorm activity and being on track. So sometimes these are a hair off, especially in the beginning. But here's what the model's forecast is at roughly 9 p.m. So we're at 8:37, going to 8:38 right now. And it's doing a pretty good job on the placement of where the heavy thunderstorm activity would be. Again, these storms would be capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, potentially a tornado, and torrential rain, and a lot of lightning as well. Now, the model's trending takes us to 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, these storms are located just off to the west and to the north of the Fox River Valley, and they don't have the appearance, or at least appear to be as aggressive as they are right now. And they continue to lose that as we go to about the 2 o'clock in the morning hour. So the trend should be, as they move into northeast Wisconsin, for them to weaken rather than intensify, and that's good news for us. As we go to about 4 o'clock in the morning, that threat for some thunderstorms still exists along the lakeshore areas, but overall things should be quieting down. And by the early commute time tomorrow, we should be done with the thunderstorms. Probably not going to be done with the chance of rain tomorrow, but we'll be done with this heavier round of weather that'll be pushing through. So again, kind of the breakdown on this. Overnight storms, we had that 10 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning window highlighted earlier this afternoon. We're expecting this line of storms to develop. Strong winds and an isolated tornado are the main threats with everything now. As they move in our direction, I think it's going to be heavy downpours, some localized flooding, and a lot of lightning. Let's go back and take a look one more. We'll do one more tour through the graphics here, and then we're going to get back. I got to prep some things for the late show. But again, this is the line of thunderstorms that are coming through. If you're joining us right now, we don't have any threat of severe weather or anything like that in northeast Wisconsin or the WFRV coverage area for a while yet. We're probably going to be looking at somewhere between the next hour and a half before, oh gosh, probably even longer than that. Let me get you an updated estimate on that. Again, provided this stuff is moving at 50 miles an hour, we're looking at roughly about an hour, roughly 2 hours before it can get into our western communities. So even on the conservative end, let's go an hour and a half. So an hour and a half, roughly about 10 o'clock. So between 10 and 10:30, this activity would be moving into our western areas. It should be weakening. And then as it gets into the Green Bay, Fox River Valley, we're going to be looking at roughly 3 hours from right now, so 11:30, 11:45, somewhere in there. And then it should exit the lakeshore. We are going to continue to track this. The storms that are most of concern are really what's happening up in far northwest Wisconsin. And it would be these storms here. I mean, they have just an incredible radar reflectivity. And keep in mind, this is a part of the radar where it's going to be looking really, really high up into the storm because we're either utilizing the Green Bay radar site, and that elevation by that point, by the time it gets into northwest Wisconsin, it's pretty high, or we're accessing the Duluth radar site, and again, that's shooting pretty high up into the cloud, so there's probably a lot of ice in this. I can actually get an idea of what we have for hail. Just kind of see what they have in there. There's definitely some hail signature in there, so we're probably getting a high reflectivity because there's a lot of ice up in the top of that thunderstorm based on where our radars are sampling this storm. Definitely at least 3 hail cores in there. Big hail core located with this one just off to the northeast of Eau Claire, which is tornado warned. And then we have some hail, looks like just to the east-southeast of the Twin Cities, just west of Red Wing, Minnesota. And so that's what we have for hail. Let's take a look at what we have for, I'm going to show you the lightning because lightning was really vivid. We had a lot of lightning in there. So this is going to come through. So heads up if you have any kids, obviously, trying to get to bed on a school night, pets, dogs. As this comes through and it weakens, we're still probably going to have quite a bit of thunder and lightning, so that will make some issues there. We can actually get a grab on the count of how many cloud-to-ground lightning strikes we've had in the past 15 minutes. And we've had over 1,000 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. This does not include cloud-to-cloud lightning, which we can't detect with the instruments that we have. So it's pretty electric. It's pretty fired up there out into the western part of the state. Okay, so we are now coming up at 8:42. Again, just a reminder, we have a tornado watch that has been issued over the course of this evening. It happened after our 6 p.m. broadcast, so this is new. A tornado watch is in effect for Waushara, Wapaka, Shawano, Menominee, Langlade, Oconto, and Marinette County, Forest and Florence counties in the WFRV coverage area. It does not include Green Bay. The watch does not include the Fox Cities. It does not include the Lakeshore or the Door Peninsula. So that's very important for you to know as well. This is going to be something that kind of weakens into the northwestern side of our viewing area, and as it does so, some of these storms could still be on the stronger side. Again, a current look at the warnings. We have a wall of severe thunderstorm warnings that exist all the way up from Vilas County, the western UP, all the way down to Price County. Then one tornado warning right now for Chippewa County until 9 p.m. And it looks like we're getting new severe thunderstorm warnings on this activity. My graphics can grab that. North of La Crosse and east of Rochester. Another look at arrival on this. These storms as they come in. This is 10 p.m. This is right as we're getting on the air for Local 5 News at 10. And the trend is for these to weaken. Could turn into a line of heavy rain-producing thunderstorms, though. Anywhere from Wausau to Stevens Point to Shawano at this point. And then things begin to diminish in intensity, certainly as we move past 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, keep in mind, this watch that's in effect is in effect until midnight tonight. So that's officially when the watch is up until. But I think thunderstorms last past that, although probably not severe in our viewing area. So again, what to expect 10 p.m. to about 3 o'clock in the morning. These line of thunderstorms are here. I shouldn't even say they're developing. They're here in terms of where they're at in Wisconsin. They certainly will hold together. Strong winds and an isolated tornado threat, and then heavy downpours and localized flooding. We're coming up on 8:45 now. We're going to be wrapping up this update. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you drop them in the comment section here, and I'll try to comb through and address as many as I can. But hopefully, if you're following along, you were able to get a pretty good idea for what we're expecting. We're going to have another update for you, of course, coming up on Local 5 News at 10, And should we need to, we'll be breaking into programming if there are any active tornado warnings in the WFRV coverage area. But for now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Luke Sampe from Storm Team 5. Thank you for joining us.